Styx here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another episode of Styx versus the top of the ladder, and today I have a top 10 match against Starmaster in Little Cup. Same team I've been using, really nothing to say. But his team is looking particularly annoying because he has three things that can effectively counter Fletchling, which could be a little bit of a problem. The good thing is, Diglett beats all three of those 1v1 if my sash is intact and they are not scarfed. If the Chincho and the Magnemite are not scarfed, then Diglett can just straight up Oko them. But without further ado, we'll just jump right into the battle. He leads off with his Mienfoo, as I lead off with my own little Mienfoo, because I love that thing and it's an all-purpose lead. And he's just going to go for the U-turn right here. That shows me that he is more than likely a Scarf set. In fact, it does tell me he's a Scarf set because he didn't go for Knockoff. Now I'm just going to go for Knockoff right here. I really should have just U-turned out and gone into my Diglett to trap and KO this Larvesta, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. Now, right here, I predict the Will-O-Wisp and not the Flare Blitz because my Mienfoo is out, so I just go in my Abra to tank that. And because Abra does have Magic Guard, he will not be taking any damage at all. And right here, because the Larvesta has lost its Eviolite, I am just going to go straight for the Psychic. And unfortunately, I get a min damage roll, meaning that he will be able to get off the U-turn and break my sash. Abra's sash would have been very nice to have this match because nothing on his team really wants to take a hit. Magnemite even takes a chunk from a Hidden Power fighting, as he is going to go into his Mienfoo. And really, I have nothing to switch in, but I am predicting the U-turn right here, so I'm going to go back into my Mienfoo as he does go for the U-turn. He U-turns out right here. I really don't think anything on his team wants to 1v1 my Mienfoo because I am bulky Eviolite, as he goes into his Archon right now. Now, I'm predicting this Archon has Berry Juice, so if I do go for Drain Punch, then it won't KO. Oh, well, then it won't knock it down to Defeatist. I mean, it will, but the Berry Juice will activate, bringing him up to full. So I'm just going to go for the knockoff right here, try to get rid of it after I go for the Fake Out, because, I mean, free damage is free damage on Archon. There's really no reason not to get it. As right here, I am going to luckily win the speed tie, go for the knockoff. Unfortunately, he is not carrying the Berry Juice at all, and Acrobatics is going to straight up KO me. I didn't want to go into my Poniard or Chincho in case he went for the Earthquake, so I just decided to play it safe, which was kind of a dumb. And right here, I'm going to go into my Abra right now because I can just get off a free Psychic on anything on his team, as he does decide to go into his Larvesta just to sack it. And unfortunately, this will be the end for my Abra because I don't want anything else on my team to take U-turn damage, especially if he decides not to U-turn and just go straight for high jump kick with his Mienfoo. But which he is going to bring in right here, showing me that yes, he is 150% scarfed as the U-turn KOs my Abra. Now right here, he has a little bit of a predicament. Chincho, Magnemite, and Archon will all lose to my Diglett if he decides to bring it in. If he decides to bring any of those three in. So the smart play right now is to go into Drillbur because he could get up rocks and also live a hit from my Diglett. However, he does go into his Archon, which will not be trapped by Diglett, so I mean that still works out for him. But because the Archon is in, I am just going to go straight into my Diglett because Rock Slide will be able to KO it at this point. Now right here, I really should have predicted the switch and just gone straight for the Stealth Rock, but I decide not to. Playing safe is kind of biting me in the butt a little bit this match, as Mienfoo does come in. And I know he's probably going to go for the Drain Punch or High Jump Kick, and since I do have my sash intact, I'm just going to get up my rocks because they will knock the Archon into Defeatist, and they will force the Drillbur to come in at some point. Now right here, I straight up could just sack my Diglett, but I decide that this guy will be really, really helpful versus the Archon and Chincho later, and potentially the Magnemite if I knock off its Scarf. So I decide to save it, go into my Fletchling, because Fletchling can tank one Drain Punch. That's it. It cannot take any more. It can take one Drain Punch. And right here, I was really tempted to click is either Hidden Power Grass, Overheat, or Acrobatics. Acrobatics for Mienfoo, Hidden Power Grass for Chincho, and Overheat for Magnemite. And I also was really tempted to go into my Diglett, but I decided that Diglett was way too important. So again, play it safe. It bites me in the butt as he goes into his Chincho. Now immediately, I see that this Acrobatics does way too much, telling me that it's a offensive Chincho, as he does reveal that he has Berry Juice, so that's unfortunate. I decide to save my fletchling here because it's the only thing that can take on his mien at this point, and I don't want to risk the speed tie with my Scarf Chinchou. So I decided to go into my own, predicting the either Volt Switch or Scald, as he does go for the Ice Beam. Now, it's worth noting that even if he had frozen me, I was just going to start spamming Scald because nothing on his team wants to take it. Mienfoo will get burned by it, the Chinchou could get burned, Archon, Drillbur will be KO'd, and Magnemite in all likelihood will be KO'd, and it can't do much to me, as I am just going to fire it off. He makes a very, very, very questionable play in my opinion, and goes into his Drillbur. Maybe he was running Water Absorb on his Chinchou. I really have no idea why he decided to make that switch, because now my rocks are here to stay, and Archon cannot switch back in, or it will be in Defeatist, which will play to my advantage severely. But now I have really nothing else to do as he goes into his Mienfoo. Now right here it's coming down to a speed tie. If I can get a Scald off, then that will be perfect, because potentially I could get the burn, and he is probably going to go for high jump kick at this point. But really it comes down to whether or not I can get this speed tie. So right here I do get it. That is lucky for me, and I do get the burn, so that was a very fortunate turn. I mean, it was really a 50-50 at that point, as he goes for high jump kick and does not KO my Chinchou. But right here, now that he's burned, I can take care of it, as high jump kick will KO me, as he does win the speed tie. So that was a little bit of one side winning speed tie than the other side. So it was a really 50-50 right there, so it was a good trade. But now the burn will take him down to the point where my Diglett will be able to KO it with Sucker Punch, and he cannot escape. So that will be a dead Mienfoo, which is really, really nice for me, as down it goes, and my Diglett is sitting pretty because I can outspeed everything on his team as long as it's not Scarfed. Chinchou I know isn't Scarfed, Archon I know is not faster, so Magnemite's the only potential Scarf. Now right here, I decide that I'm going to save Diglett because it 1v1s Archon and Chinchou, so I'm just going to go into my Pawniard. If he predicts that, then that's game, and there's really not much I can do about it. But I know he won't want to be risky at all and potentially go for like the Hidden Power Ground, because I still have my Fletchling alive, and he can't go for an electric move because Diglett will be immune to it, and if for some reason I stay in, then he just full-on loses the game and has no chance. So I'm going to save it and go into my Pawniard right now, as he does go for the Flash Cannon, and lowers my Pawniard special defense, giving me a Defiant boost, which is brilliant, because now I can just spam knockoff and KO really anything that I want. Chinchou for sure will be KO'd. I'm not sure about rolls if he decided to switch it in, but Magnemite will go down for sure to a knockoff, and because he stayed in right there, that would have been game whether or not he got the Spadef drop, because then Diglett would have outsped and Earthquaked, and Archon would have come in, died, blah 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 blah. But anyway, Magnemite does go down, just makes the battle a little bit quicker, as he does decide to go into his Chinchou right now. Now I could just sack Pawniard because Diglett does win me the game, however I don't want to risk Rock Slide missing and potentially lose because of that, so I decided to save my Pawniard and just sack my Fletchling, as it will not be doing anything at all this game, and after it dies I can just go straight into my Diglett and trap and KO the Chinchou. And then that will ensure that I have game, because after the Chinchou dies, his Archon, even if my Rock Slide misses, I will still have my Scarf Pawniard to outspeed and go for Iron Head, as the Chinchou does just go straight down to an Earthquake. Which means all he has left is this little Archon, who is now in Defeatist. I could go for the Sucker Punch, but I really don't want to risk him roosting on me, so I decide to go for the Rock Slide, which will ensure the KO. And it's a good thing I saved my Pawniard, because I miss, as he will go for the knockoff and knock off my Diglett Sash. So it's really, really good that I decided to play safe at the very end, as my Pawniard's going to come in and finish the game. Playing safe bit me in the butt a little bit early on, but in the end it saved me. So really glad I decided to do that there at the end. But that will be the game. As you can see, this guy was ranked at 1641, and if we go to the ladder, that was number 5, because 1641 would have been higher than that. And yes, I am in the top 10. Jolt challenged me to do that, and I finally did, which means he finally gets to shut up about it. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.